السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. رمضان مبارك. الحمد لله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. نويت تعلم وتعلم وتذكر وتذكر ونفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة وحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير وابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته بقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. الحمد لله. All right, so picking up where we left off yesterday, page 27, uh, the one, two, three, fourth paragraph or fourth section of that page. We start off. Imam Al-Haddad, he says, among the things I fear for you after me is that which will be given to you from among the beauties of this world, its ornaments and embellishments. Okay, again, this is a continuation of some of the traditions of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and things that he said. So this is again Rasul talking about some of the things that he was concerned about or that we should take heed to in regards to the life of this world and some of the reminders that he gave to us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So again, among the things I fear for you after me is that which will be given to you from among the beauties of this world, its ornaments and its embellishments. So all of these things that we can consider to be ornaments and embellishments of this dunya, clothes, money, in some respects, children, women, men, vice versa, women for men, men for women, all of the titles and things of this world, anything that can give a person a sense of grandeur or big-headedness, all of these things are things that can be considered from the ornaments and embellishments of this world. One of the things that the traditional fuqaha, may Allah be pleased with them all, have often talked about in the books is something that a lot of people nowadays take to be a necessity when it's actually not. And some of you may be surprised by me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Buying a house, thinking that you actually have to go out and purchase a house and own it in order to be secure and have a need taken care of. The need is for you to have some place to live, to be sheltered from the elements. It is considered to be a want for a person to have ownership of the house itself. Having ownership of the house is good. Alhamdulillah. It gives wealth. In some respects, it can be an investment that adds value to what it is you're able to provide for your family. Alhamdulillah. So don't get this twisted. However, the actual owning of a home is not an obligation for anybody to have. Just putting that out there. Okay, so this is one of the things. Okay, so you would say, why? Well, for one thing, when it's all said and done, it's like the money that Allah gave you possession of, it's not yours. When it's over with, you still lose it. Think about it. Continuing. Beware of this world, for it is more enchanting than Harut and Marut. Okay. So Harut and Marut, there was a lot of things that were said or believed about these two noble angels of Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For some reason, the person who translated this book translated Harut and Marut as being two fallen angels. This is not correct. This is not correct. All right. I'm not going to get too deep into this here. Just understand this. Harut and Marut were completely and utterly obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The position that they held amongst the people of Babel, at the time that they were sent to them, had nothing to do with encouraging the people to be disobedient. Because part of the warning that they gave to the people is that they were a test or a trial or a temptation for them, and they warned the people to not disobey and disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're going to leave it right there. All right. So again, the footnotes of this here, the author has Harut and Marut being labeled as fallen angels. There's no such thing. Angels were created to utterly obey Allah in every sense of the word. They do not disobey Him. Their entire lives, their creation is built upon complete obedience to Allah. So whatever they were doing in Babel, whether you understand it or not, whether I understand it or not, anybody else, it had nothing to do with going there and being disobedient to Allah and teaching the people how to not believe in Allah and to believe in them or whatever else. Okay, we'll leave it at that. If you have questions, direct it to me in the WhatsApp group so we can deal with it there. But again, and I will repeat this over and over again so you get this in your head. Don't walk away from this thinking that angels can disobey Allah. It's impossible. According to the Aqidah Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, it's impossible for an angel to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right. Harut and Marut were not fallen angels. And Imam Al-Haddad's statement here of the statement of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam speaks to something larger. Okay. Harut and Marut were sent as a temptation and a trial for the people. And again, if you remember, the statement that they made to the people was, do not disbelieve, do not become kafir. Actually, let me find the actual statement that they made so I can share that with you right quick. And the story was in Surah Al-Baqarah, if you remember correctly. So, Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah okay, ayah 102, Surah 2, ayah 102. And the gist of what they said was, إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر. So, okay, we're only a fitna, so do not disbelieve. So do not be kafir. All right? That's the gist of what they said. So, again, let it go. If this is what you think, this is what you come into, let it go. Harut and Marut were completely obedient. They were doing what they were commanded to do by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they did nothing wrong. The people who chose to take what they taught them and use it for the wrong purposes did the wrong thing, not Harut and Marut. All right. And the enchantment that Harut and Marut were for, the fitna, he translated the word here to say enchanting. I'm not sure what it was in Arabic by Imam Al-Haddad because I couldn't find the method of this text. But what the Quran said, the Harut and Marut told the people they were fitna for them. They were a trial, they were tests, they were tribulation, etc., etc., etc. But don't disbelieve. So remember that. Continuing. This world is the prison of the believer and the garden of the disbeliever. We've all heard this before. Very famous statement of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And again, all of the beauty, pomp, and circumstance of this world, for those who do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the best that it is ever going to get. And that's why they always go after chasing their passions and desires in the life of this world, because they feel as nothing else is going to matter for them. This is it. Don't get no better than this. And anytime that they find disappointment or hardship in this world, then they feel as if everything is wrong. And this is why you have, unfortunately, under some circumstances, very high rates of suicide among some people, because they feel that the life of this world is it. And if something doesn't go right for them in the life of this world, then everything is over with and there's no reason to live. May Allah protect us from such thoughts and such ways of thinking and being. All right. And this is a sijin, a prison for us, because we're here, we're constricted, we're tied up into this place here, and it's not pleasing and pleasant for us. It can be pleasing and pleasant at times, but this is not the end result that we seek. This is not what we're searching for in our lives. Our lives have much more expansive experiences that we are longing to have in Jannah, and we can't have it here. All right. Continuing. Allah keeps the world away from his believing servant, just as a careful shepherd keeps his flocks away from dangerous pastures. All right. Oftentimes, again, like we talk about, people think that just because they have a lot of something, that this world, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them. It's not always the case. Allah may give you something and he be pleased with you. But again, what you get in the life of this world is more often than not a test for you to see how you're going to act and whether or not you're going to deserve receiving more from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the life of the next. We should all strive and want to receive more in the life of the next than what we receive in this life. And Allah protects us from this. Okay, he keeps us away from the things that can cause us harm in the life of this world. Sometimes we'll ask for certain things. Yeah, Allah, give me this, give me that. I want this, I want that, this. And Allah keeps these things from us. This is just like the shepherd keeping the sheep or the animals away from a pasture where he knows that there will be harm. There are different holes and stuff the animal could fall in and break its neck, break its leg, snakes, wolves, all kinds of things in that particular area, and the shepherd keeps them away from that because he doesn't want any harm to come to them. Even though, like you say, okay, I'm going to be out here eating grass. There's plenty of grass out here. There's plenty of grass, but there's also plenty of dangers and hardships. And this is how he describes, gives the metaphor of describing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps us away from the things that can harm us. All right, so the next one is sin that cannot be forgiven, the love of this world. Okay. One reason that you can venture to say that he uses this statement of sin that cannot be forgiven, the love of this world, is because this is equated to kufr. Because you love and you long and clamor for the things of this world to the point where you forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you start associating partners with him, and then it comes to the point where you just straight out deny him because of the things that you have in the life of this world. There's a wonderful story in Surah Al-Kahf where the two men were going back and forth in their exchange. One was a righteous man, the other was forgetful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They both had a lot of wealth and resources and gardens and things of that nature there. And the one who loved the things of this world to the point where he forgot Allah, read that story. And that can give you an understanding of what can be talked about from this here. He continues, he who loves his afterlife slights his world, and he who loves his world slights his afterlife. Choose that which is permanent over that which is ephemeral. A lot of plain statements here. We're not going to go into detail with a lot of these here because we want to get through the book. So we're going to continue. When this world is bitter, the hereafter will be sweet. But when this world is sweet, the hereafter will be bitter. Another plain statement. There are good things that can happen to us in this world, no doubt, even if we have a lot of hardships that we experience. Allah will not leave us in a state of dejection and degradation, that he will have us in a point where we become despondent and forsaken of his mercy and his blessings. However, all of the bitterness that we deal with in this world, with true sabr and tawakkul, we will find a tremendous and sweet reward for all of the bitter things that we had to deal with, all of the foul things that we had to deal with in this world. Allah's reward for our patience will be something that a lot of us will certainly be overwhelmed by. So let's strive to be overwhelmed by Allah's mercy and his fadl in the next life. Continuing, those who possess plenty will be those who possessed little on the day of arising, except for those who do this and this. The Prophet gestured with his hand as one giving away money. So going back to what we talked about before, if Allah gives you resources in this life, take those resources and use them for the right reasons and in the right manner. Okay? If you have a lot of things and resources that Allah has given you in this life and you do not use them to the benefit of the creation, it's going to be a problem for you. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects us from having these types of problems on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Next one. Some people will be brought on the day of arising who have works like the mountains of Tehama. But these will be turned into scattered dust, and they will be ordered into the fire. They used to pray and fast and keep vigil part of the night, but when something of this world caught their attention, they pounced on it. Okay, so this goes back to us talking again. Just because you pray, you fast, and you do all of these wonderful things, and then you don't know how to control your passions when a woman comes along, or if a man comes along, or if an opportunity to make some questionable or very haram money. It's not even questionable. It's outright haram. You know it's haram and you don't care. But because it's money and you want to get the money and you want to be able to do whatever, and then you think that you can turn around and then donate the money to the masjid and do this, that, and the third, like this money is going to benefit you, has no benefit for you. Has no benefit for you. All right? Even if you have the most righteous of actions otherwise. Just like, subhanAllah. What have I to do with this world? The likeness of myself in the world is that of a rider riding on a hot day. He rested under the tree for a while, then departed. This is a statement that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, and he gave the likeness of it. And his position with himself in this world was like he said, he has a mount. He's riding on a hot day through the desert. He comes upon a tree. He rests up under it for a while to catch some shade. And he gets up and he goes on again. That's it. That's the extent of what he looks for from this world. Momentary bits of rest in order to continue on his journey to the next life. He who wakes up in the morning secure in his home, healthy in his body, possessing his day's provision, he is as if the world has been given to him. Okay? Love of simplicity, love of the basic necessities. Okay, seeking anything outside of your basic necessities will more often than not cause a lot of us to go into sin and corruption. We should be cautious and careful of this. All right, we should be cautious and careful about this. I was sent for the ruin of this world. He who works for its prosperity is not of me. He whose intention is the hereafter, Allah makes him rich in his heart, gathers his affairs for him, and the world comes to him subdued. But he whose intention is this world, Allah places poverty between his eyes, disperses his affair, and still nothing of this world will come to him save that which was written for him. This is a very good reminder for those of us who think that we have to do all types of questionable and haram things to earn our daily bread. Whatever Allah has decreed for you to earn, you're going to get. It's nothing or no one is ever going to stop that. Whether it comes to you early in life or later in life, you're going to get exactly what you were supposed to get and earn down to the penny. Okay? However, having trust in tawakkul in Allah does not mean that you just sit down and you wait for a bag of money to fall out of the sky into your lap. You have to get up and you have to go and put in effort. You have to work. It is an obligation for every able-bodied man to get up and go work and earn his living and take care of his family. All right? However, if you have no desire to accumulate the stuff of this world, but at the same time you take the responsibility that has been placed upon you to work and earn that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made an obligation for you to work and earn, while at the same time longing for the hereafter opposed to longing for things of this world, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do a mighty thing. He will do an amazing thing, and he will make this world subservient to you. So yes, you can quite possibly become a rich man or a rich woman in this world just by being obedient. That does not mean that this is why you should be obedient. This is a blessing, a benefit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may afford for you. However, the opposite is very much true. You chase after everything in this world and you don't worry about the prayer, the fasting, and all these other things. You're just living your life in this, the hell with everything else. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make it very difficult for you. It's going to always seem like you can't never make ends meet, etc., etc. Things are always going to not seem to go your way. And there's a number of other things that we can do to talk about within this here, but we're not going to do that today. All right, I'm going to end right here, and we'll pick up again tomorrow. We're going to try to get through these here. Should not be too much more of this. It's just a lot of hadith and statements that he uses here. So maybe a lot of this other stuff that's going to be in here, I'm just going to read through. And if you have questions about something that I said, then you can ask it in the group. And then we'll try to get into the next book. Today's Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll just probably read a lot of this other stuff that we have here. And yeah, well, today's Tuesday, so Wednesday and Thursday we'll read. But we may go through the rest of the week just reading it slowly. And then next week we'll start with the Book of Good Manners, or this weekend we'll start with the Book of Good Manners. And that should take us through the remainder of the month of Ramadan. And from that point there, we'll figure out what we're going to do afterwards for classes. Inshallah. All right. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. رمضان مبارك.